Welcome, everybody. Here we are on Monday at 2 o'clock, and we are in book 274, which is 150 of the world's most beautiful songs. So, yes, we still have quite a ways to go to catch up to the first song that we started with 2 years ago in this book. If you would have told me I'd still be Zooming now, I would have said, nah, 3 months and we'll be done. And here we are still Zooming, and it's a wonderful thing because we're all becoming close friends and family, no matter where we are in the United States, Canada, or England. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. Today we're doing My Funny Valentine on page 196, okay? And I am adding extra chords. It's not going to be that hard of a song unless you want to make it hard. I also wrote up the entire introductory page that very few people use with this song. I think the only time anybody's ever really heard it is in the movie, Babes in Arms. So I will play it for you, and if you want it, you know where to find it. I'll put it on Patreon, or I'll have Robert put it up on Patreon for you. But I'm also here if you need to scan it, have me scan it to you. Just let me know. Just email me. This was a show tune from 1937, Richard Rodgers and Lorenz Hart musical Babes in Arms, in which it was introduced by teenager Mitzi Green. It became a popular jazz standard, and it became the signature song for jazz trumpeter Chet Baker. So if you wanted to try using one of those classical trumpets that you have in your instrument, that would be a wonderful way to play My Funny Valentine. My Funny Valentine. Valentine is actually the name of a person, a name of a guy. So if you read the lyrics, and I'm going to read to you what this little introduction says. Behold the way our fine feathered friends his virtue doth parade. Thou knowest not, my dim-witted friend, the pictures thou hast made. Thy vacant brow and thy tousled hair conceal thy good intent. Those noble, upright, truthful, sincere, and slightly dopey gent. You're my, then it goes to the song, Funny Valentine. Sweet comic Valentine, talking about a person named Valentine. You make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable. Really? Okay. Yet you're my favorite work of art. So she's in love with somebody who's maybe not all that fabulous looking, and it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. We all have our unfabulous things. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Don't change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. So it's actually a beautiful love song, if you think about it. And it is a jazz standard, and it is performed by lots and lots and lots of performers. So I think what I'm going to do is play it with this intro, and what I'm using is Jazz Club. You can also use Duke's Blues or Frank and the Count, or pretty much anything you want. Anything you want that's going to just make it a nice standard song. Dinner and Dance would be good on this. Basically any of those swings, any of your big band or your swings are going to be fabulous on this. So let's start this out with just chords and melody. that was Jazz Club at 88 beats per minute, but you could also go slower than that. Let's see what else I got in here. Frank and the Count was good. Duke's Blues is good. You can slow it down to 72 if you want, or keep it right around that 80 degree mark, and I think you'll 80 beats a minute, and that's going to work out very well. All right. Okay, Connie, you're going to have to add some extra chords this time. Anybody that had this in my level 3 class, here we go with extra chords. You're going to need to know how to make some of them on this sheet too. So if you just have a little piece of paper and you want to take some notes on an A9, I'm just going to give you the hard ones. A9 equals, and then write out the notes. So an A9 is C sharp, G, A, B. Now you can put the C sharp on top if you want. C sharp can go on top, or you can put the C sharp on the bottom. No, I'm sorry, I gave you wrong. No, that's right. C sharp, G, A, B. Yep, A9. Let's see if I got anything else in here. Yes, I have an E minor 7 flat the 5th. Write it down. Here's your notes. E minor 7 flat the 5th equals D dinosaur, E elephant, G gorilla, B flat, flat butterflies. Then I also have an A7 augmented in your introduction. So just write A7 aug and equals these notes. C sharp, F, G, A. Now you can put that C sharp on top. It's actually easier to play it on bottom. That's an A7 augmented. All right, let's go to the pages in your book. The D minor is fine just the way it is. Cross out the A and change it to D minor major 7. D, little m, capital M-A-J 7. Now it's the minor chord, but the 7 is the major, so it's 1 to the left of the letter. So your notes are C sharp, D and F. And we're doing a walk down is what we're doing. We've done these before. The D minor, measure 3, make it a D minor 7. The G, make it a B minor 7, flat the 5th. Another hard one. Your notes are B butterfly, D dinosaur, F fish, and A alligator. Now what happens in that whole first line is you're doing a little walk down and you're changing the bottom note is really what's happening. D minor major 7, D minor 7, B minor 7 flat the 5th. Now if you don't want to play B minor 7 flat the 5th, you can just do a B diminished. And all you're going to do then is skip the A on the top. It would be B, D, and F, so that if you've got your fingers on D minor and you go down, you can just hold the D minor and just walk your finger down one note for each one of those chords. Let's go to line 2. The B flat can be a B flat major 7. Remember, major 7s are always the letter 1 to the left. So it's A and B flat right next to each other. The G minor can be G minor 7, or it can be G minor 9. G minor 9 is a 4-fingered chord, and your notes are F, fish, G, gorilla, A, alligator, and B flat, flat butterflies. And that gives it a whole different sound. Here's G minor. Here's G minor 7. Here's G minor 9. It just adds a little bit of of spice, gives you a little bit of a challenge. Cross out the A in measure 3 and make it an E minor 7 flat the 5th. We had it in the intro, so you should already have the letters written. D dinosaur, E elephant, G gorilla, and B flat, flat butterflies for one measure. And then the 4th measure over that whited in whole note, now put your A7 back in. You're going to resolve that. Because A7 is the lead-in chord to get you back to the D minor.
Mhm.
All right, now D minor, if you want, you can put a 7 on it in line 3. The A, you can put a 7 on it. The next D minor has a 7 on it if you want. Remember, if it's not in the box, it's optional. And the G is perfect exactly the way it is. So line 3 is pretty easy. Line 4, the B flat. Make it a B flat major 7. A and B flat. The G minor, you can make that a B minor 7 flat the 5th. Wow. Yeah, we've already had it. B, butterfly, D, dinosaur, F, fish, A, alligator. Now, if you wanted to play it up here, you could. Then it would be F, A, B, D. Because if you're on the B flat major 7, you might want to just leave your hand in this position. Oh, here comes Helen. Let's let her in. And then instead of the B flat minor, you're going to change it to a G minor 7 flat the 5th. And you can play it in 2 different inversions, whichever one you want, so it doesn't matter what's on top. D flat, F, G, B flat, flat butterflies. You can put the D flat on top or bottom. And always check your window to make sure that you've got the right chord. G minor 7 flat 5, there it is. And it just gives it a real pretty sound. Going to the C7. Any questions about page 1 before we move on? Nope, we good? All right, let's go to the second page. Make that very first F an F major 7, which means it's E and F. And that's good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the F quarter note for the word less. Make it a G minor or a G minor 7, F, G, B flat. Second measure. First beat over the F half note, put in an A minor or an A minor 7. C, G, and A. And you can play the G and the A with your thumb. Beat 3, cross out the C and replace it with G minor or G minor 7. So that's going to sound like this. So every 2 beats, you're going to have another chord. Let's go to third measure. The F chord is fine, right where it is for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the F quarter note, G minor or G minor 7. Next measure, over the F for the word weak, beat 1. A minor or A minor 7. C, G, A. Cross out the C and replace it with G minor or G minor 7. So it's the exact same chords with the exception of the F. The F is just a regular F. Okay, let's go to line 2. Make that F an F major 7, E and F. Beat 3 over the F quarter note, make it an A7. G and A. Second measure, first beat over the F half note for the word speak, put in a D minor. Beat 3 over the G for the word R, put in a C minor, chicken minor, or C minor 7, which would be C, E flat, B flat, for one note. All right, so over the A, beat 4 is a B or a B7, A and B. All right, next measure, make that B flat a B flat major 7, which is A and B flat. And the next measure over that whited in half note, E minor 7, flat the 5th. We've already had that one. D, dinosaur, E, elephant, G, gorilla, and B flat, flat butterflies. And then the A7 is perfect just the way it is. The next line is actually pretty easy. D minor is fine. If you want to put a 7 on it, you may. A7, put a 7 on the A. Then you got a D minor 7 and a G. So that's a pretty easy line. Now, the next line is a hard line. Yep, that's why you came to this class today, is to get the chords for line 4 on page 2. The B flat, make it a B flat major 7. A and B flat for the whole measure. Measure 2, cross out the A and replace it with E minor 7, flat the 5th. Okay, we've had it enough. You should be starting to memorize that. D, E, G, B flat. Good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the E half note. Put an A7. Put that one back in. And now the next 2 measures. That's the tricky part. D minor. Put a 7 on it. That you can handle. Beat 3 of that measure. Put in a C sharp 9. C sharp 9. We very rarely see that. There it is. Wow, it's a 4-fingered chord. B butterfly, C sharp, sharp chickens, D sharp, sharp dogs, and F natural. So B, C sharp, D sharp, F. That's good for 2 counts. Cross out the F and replace it with C minor 9. Oh my, C minor 9. That's another 4-fingered chord. And your notes are B flat, C chicken, D dinosaur, and E flat, flat elephants. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to practice going from there to there. You want that movement to be very smooth, okay, so that your fingers know those chords. That's good for 2 counts. Beat 3 of that last measure in line 4 is a B butterfly or a B7, A and B. And I don't care if you play it down here or you play it up here, whatever is comfortable. And now the last line. B flat, make it a major 7, A and B flat. Cross out the C and replace it with G minor or G minor 7. F, G, B flat for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G half note. Put your C7 back in and then end on an F. Questions about page 2? All right, did I add some hard ones, Connie? Made it a little bit harder, didn't I? Yep.
Wow. It was
Yeah.
hard enough before.
Yeah. Yep.
Daun.
Well, we got it. If we're going to do it again, we might as well challenge you just a little bit more. Just push
I
it.
hope you don't do it a third time.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Hey, Dawn,
Yeah.
second line of that second page,
Uh-huh.
you've got an F major 7,
Hmm.
an A7,
Yes.
and over that F half note is what chord?
D minor, dinosaur minor.
D minor.
No,
Okay,
D, dinosaur.
got it. D like in dog.
Yep. Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Yeah, we added a lot today. Added
Yes,
a
Dawn,
lot. Yes. Go ahead,
on
Sue.
the first page,
Mhm.
third, last line,
Mhm.
third measure,
Uh-huh.
the wait a minute, G minor 7 flat to 5.
Uh-huh.
Did you say that the B flat at the end could go in the front?
No, the D flat, the dinosaur flat could go.
D
The
flat.
D flat could go top or bottom.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Or a C sharp. If you can read it better as a C sharp,
right.
G minor 7, and you're going to add a C sharp. It's a D flat, but you can put that on the bottom
Okay,
or on the top, wherever it's more comfortable for you.
okay.
Okay?
Yep.
When we get to these advanced chords, we don't have to be in the box. I won't look. And as a matter of fact, sometimes you have to move your hand to a
Right.
different position in order to make it sound right. So, yeah, you just make it as comfortable for what chord comes before and what chord comes after.
Right.
And that's how you know which inversion to use for those chords.
Sometimes I just can't reach it.
I hear you. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no roadmap, so we don't have to worry about that. So it is the extra chords that makes this song a little bit trickier to do. And that's pretty much it. Now, here's something. What key are we in, and why is that important?
F.
Are we in F?
F.
D,
Are we in F?
D minor.
F.
Yes.
All right, F is the last chord. The scale for F is G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. There's one flat. It's a B flat. Now, is the top part of the song, the front page, you don't see any Fs on that page, do you?
No.
No. Oh, wow. Okay. As a matter of fact, yeah, I don't see an F until we get to the bridge. Wow. Okay, so the D minor is the relative minor of F. How do I know that? What's the second note of D minor? D and F. Uh-huh. So D minor is the relative minor of F. Well, what does that actually mean? What that means is the D minor scale starts on D and it's the same scale as F. B flat. It's the same scale as F starting on a different key. So those are called relative majors and minors. Okay? And if the second letter that we use for that minor chord, that's the relative major. And a lot of times songs will have a minor and end in the relative major. Why? Because you're starting out with sad, gloomy, kind of sorrowful type of an atmosphere, and then you end on that uplifted major chord. But it's the same scale throughout the entire song. Okay? So if I tell you that I am in the key where I have a C at the end, and we're starting in the relative minor, what would that relative minor be? If we have a C at the end of the, I'm just giving you a hypothetical question. Right. If we have a C at the end of a song, and you're starting with the relative minor, what would that relative minor be? You guys know it. You played it a lot.
A.
A, yeah, it's an A minor. A minor is the same scale as C, starting on the A. And the second note of A minor is C, right? Because we play A and C. So that's how you know that it is the relative minor. There's actually a lot of songs that will start out in that minor and end in that uplifting major scale. There's only one song that I know that starts on the relative major and ends on the relative minor. And that's Come Rain or Come Shine. It's the only one I know. I'm sure there's more. But that's usually not the way songs are written. Usually they'll write it starting in that somber minor tone and end on that uplifting major. So what does that mean for us as far as now, what kind of intro? Of course, I did write out an intro for you, so you can just start on this. But what if you don't want that intro? What if you just want to play whatever the intro is? I just want to use the intro that's in my organ. Which one do I start on?
D minor.
D minor? Normally it will be the D minor, but try the F as well, because sometimes, depending on what the intro is, it's going to sound better if you start on the F and then go into that D minor chord. Now, here's a good example. Is it Edelweiss? No, it's the other one from The Sound of Music. Raindrops on Roses, okay? My favorite things. Check that one out. It starts in the relative minor, it ends on the relative major, but if you go to song setup and play the intro, if you play the minor chord, it doesn't sound right. If you play the major chord, it's the signature background. Wow, imagine that. It's a signature introduction. So you have to try with these Lowry organs, try when you have a situation where you've got the relative minor and the relative major beginning and ending chords, try both of them and see. Okay, so the D minor is probably going to win, but let's try it with F. Still in jazz club. That sounded okay. You know why? Because it's the same scale, so it works. It works. All right, now let's try it with the D minor and see if we like it better. I think we're going to like this one better. Yeah, the D minor sounded better in this case. But because they're both the same scale, you could start with either one.
Dawn,
Yeah.
what if people like me are unsure and we just do both, and by ear we prefer the D minor?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
You know,
Always let your ear be the final guide.
I mean, based on what you said, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, the relative, but still, it would be easier for me.
Always let your ear be your final guide. You do not have to memorize all this music theory stuff.
Okay.
That's not what this is about. This is just to explain why sometimes that last chord doesn't work. And it's if you have the relative minor, if you have a minor chord at the beginning, you might want to start with that minor chord. And if your ear says, yes, that's it, then you know it's the right one. Always. Your ear is always the final guide. Not because Dawn taught you some music theory.
But I can hear it too.
Yep. Trust your ear. Always trust your ear. Trust your fingers. Trust your ears. Because they'll take
But that
you
is
exactly
kind of
where you wanna go.
interesting to know
Yeah.
that the scales are relative, and you know, and you could,
Yeah, it's kind of fun to learn stuff like that. And because you guys already have the whole lesson. You know everything you need to know except the fingering. That's
I used to have a nun who used to say that the scales are cousins.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're like your first cousin.
Yeah, well,
Sorry I'm
that's
late, by the way.
the F and the D minor, they're relatives. So yeah, they can be sisters, they could be cousins. I don't care what they are, but yeah, that's a good analogy. Good
Good old
analogy.
sisters.
Yep. Very cool. It's funny what we remember when we learn things in elementary school or when we learn things in high school about music, and it's still there.
Dawn, I
Good.
have to. Can I share something real quick with you?
Yeah.
When I first started watching your videos, you were doing a beginner class,
Mm-hmm.
and you were telling the people to keep their hands, like play on the tip of your fingers. And I remember my teacher, the nun, she was telling me like you never put your hands down like low, because it's like putting your hands on a hot stove. Like that where the
Yeah.
bar is
Yeah.
would be like a hot stove on a piano or an organ.
Yeah. You don't want to have your hand down
That's
here.
right. And, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what she always said. And that was 40 years
Interesting.
ago.
Yeah. Interesting that you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She used a good analogy. Now, that being said, this is not a piano class. So,
I know.
yeah. So
But
you don't have to. I don't want you in claw position. I don't want you to have to curl your fingers
Right.
exactly the right way. And my piano teacher always told me I had to cut my nails and keep them short. Bunch of hooey. On the organs, you don't need to do that. The reason was they didn't want the clicking of the nails on the piano.
I notice more men do that, like Randy, and they do that like that.
Oh,
It's weird.
but I'll tell you what, I had a lady who had nails out to here. I am not kidding you. She had nails out to here on all her fingers. And she played beautifully, and I still to the
My
life of me,
sister-in-law's the same way. She plays beautifully.
I still
long nails.
cannot figure out how she could do that with those 2-3 inch nails. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, because she played with the pads of her fingers. She had to, because the nails otherwise would get in the way. I don't recommend that. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to play flat fingered. You want to curve naturally. If you pretend like there's a golf ball in the palm of your hand, then your hand curls naturally. And just keep your hand nice and loose. And that's just a really good way to play. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Definitely. Did you get my email?
I did. I have not had a chance to do anything with it yet because it's Monday and there's always stuff to do.
I know
on
it's
Monday.
crazy Monday. It's crazy Monday. So, just take a look at it.
I will. I promise
Then
I
we'll
will.
share it. Then we'll share it. Then we'll share it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, I've got the next song is My One and Only Love. We will do that one next week. That one looks like it's going to be kind of easy, too. I'll see what I can do to mess that one up. And I do have fingering for the rest of you, so, keep cool. It is hot outside. Keep hydrated. Stay in and play music. That's a good thing to do. And thank you once again for coming. For those of you who came to the Saturday contest that we did, songs with the word rain in the title, that was an awful lot of fun. Yeah. All right, we'll do another one of those. I'll put one together so we can do another one of those pretty soon. Yeah. They take a lot of work, but that's okay. It keeps me sharp too. All right, those of you who need fingering, stick around. The rest of you, thank you so much for coming. I cannot do this without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Fingering. D1, E2, F3, E2, F3, E2. D1, E2, F3, E2, F3, E2. Second line, D1, E2, F1, circle it. That's a tuck under. High C5, B flat 4, A3, G2. Third line, F1, G2, A3, G2, A3, G2. F1, G2, A3, G2, A3, G2. Next line, F1, G2, A1, circle it. That is a thumb tuck. High E, make that one a 4. Now there's a reason for that. D3, C2, B1, and here's the reason you didn't want to end up with your thumb on that B flat. So
Oh.
B is a 1, B flat is a 3 with a circle. That's a crossover. A2, G1. Let's go to the second page. High C5, F2, F2, E1. F2, F2, E1. High D5, F2, F2, E1, F2, F2, E1. High E5, F1, F1, E2, circle it, that's a crossover. Now, if your fingers are long enough to go from the E to the F, from a 5 to a 2, go ahead and do that, just that my fingers don't want to do that, so that's why I did the crossover here on the E2 with a circle. Then go back to an F1, G2, A3, high D5. Low E2. Now, you can put a little check mark in there because it's a new phrase. D1, E2, F3, E2, F3, E2. F1, circle it. That is a thumb tuck. G2, A3, G2, A3, G2, check mark. New phrase. Let's see, several different ways to do this. Let's do D3, E4, F5, E4, F5, E4, F5. Last line, low F1, G2, A3, G2, A3, G2, F1.
Very good. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty song. If you don't want to play the extra chords, don't worry about it, but it will push you a little bit. If you learn one new chord, then you're successful. And every time you play it, if you learn one new thing, then you did good. Yeah. Then
Well, and I
you
have found that it's easier to practice the chords before I do the song
Mhm.
because otherwise it's piecemeal and it's awful.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so much easier to do that and
Yeah,
then the
especially
melody will.
especially line 4 on that second page where you
Yeah.
have that crazy D minor 7, C sharp 9, C minor 9, D7. Make sure you have that under your fingers before you go into that, or you're going to go,
Right.
where am I going?
I found that it was keeping me back from,
D,
playing a
E,
little more
G, B
smooth.
flat.
So,
D, E, G, B flat is an E minor 7 flat the 5th.
Yep.
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 All right, you guys. Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. That was fun.
Yeah.
That will be fun.
And
Thank
we will
you,
see
Dawn.
you. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
There's my little arrow. There it is. I'll see you all at the next class or next week.
Right.